My boyfriend almost killed me. Why? He said I was cheating on him, and he swears he spotted me at the cafe with another man. You guys will not believe the evidence he tries to give me when I know I was at work. Stick around to the end to see what lengths he goes to prove that I'm lying. This is actually a very funny thing that I'm sure most people who've had a twin could relate to. I should have told my boyfriend that I had a twin sister. I mean, I thought I did. I always mention my sister, but I've not seen her in 5 years because, well, she's so busy traveling the world with her husband. She did not tell me that she was back in town so that I would prepare for her arrival, since according to her, she wanted to surprise me. So, it was funny that, of all people, my boyfriend was the first person to see her. But since we looked the same, he thought it was me, and I was cheating. I found the situation funny, but I was not laughing when I got home to find someone who wanted to dump me. And he was ready to either move out or kick me out. Me, being a bit of a hothead, did not even think that maybe it was her, because my thought were that she's still in Australia. Amelie. Amelie and I are identical twins, but over the years we've drifted apart because of our different personalities. We try to catch up here and there, but time gets in the way since she's always traveling. I am more of a person who enjoys being secure in one place, and I absolutely hate change. My boyfriend Rick just says that I'm stubborn, but I think he's more stubborn than me. Rick and I have a funny relationship story because we were colleagues before we started dating, and we absolutely hated each other's guts because of how each of us wanted to lead the team. We were always the first ones in at work and the last ones to leave, so because of that, we collaborated on tasks a lot. We had a few conversations before and after work, which made me think that maybe he was not such a bad person after all. I started to like him, but I was so stubborn that I did not want to tell him. I wanted him to ask me out first. Well, a year went by, and we flirted a bit, but nothing happened because we were both waiting for the other to make a move. Well, it was too late by the end of the year because Rick found another job at a company across town, which saddened me. I realized that I missed arguing with him every morning, and I wished that I had just asked him out, even though I feared he would reject me or make fun of me. It happened then that I ran into him while I was across town. We struck up a conversation and, yeah, he asked me out. And the rest is history. We've been dating for over 3 years, but we've been living together for 2. We started living together since COVID started, which has been both a blessing and a curse for us. We're always getting on each other's nerves, but there's no doubt that we care for each other. We can both be seriously childish at times and love pranking each other. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that we matched each other's personalities and have very hot temper. When he started asking me funny questions about where I was when I was at work, I told him that he had seen me go to work, so why was he even asking? Then he accused me of lying, demanding I should call him via video and show him my office. I got irritated really fast and told him leave me alone. I thought he was just being a big old baby and sulking since it's his day off, and I had refused to call in sick. So I figured that he was just trying to act all possessive, so I would come home. I ended up archiving his chat and not touching my phone for the next couple of hours, because, well, honestly, I was so busy. Little did I know that my relationship was in danger. As soon as I set foot in the apartment, I felt the air change. Maybe it was my head, but the man looked icy as heck. Me being oblivious, I started to talk to him about my day, figuring that his mood had nothing to do with me. But the man looked like he had something he wanted to say, but it was eating him alive. Normally, he would have just spat out while he wanted to say, but this time, he looked like he was trying to not have an outburst. A solid 30 minutes went by with me talking to myself, and him just giving me one-worded answers, focusing on his game and just gritting his teeth. Now, if there is something I hate, it's when people who act passive-aggressive and refuse to say what's eating them up. So I told him to tell me what's on his mind or fix his attitude because I was no mind reader. That was when he asked me how long I've been cheating. Of course, I was caught off guard because I would never dream of cheating on him, even though he annoyed the heck out of me. I loved him. I loved my man. I seriously thought he was joking or trying to prank me. I made a joke asking where the camera was and if I was a part of a TikTok. He switched up on me fast and called me by my full name. Now, when your partner calls you by your full name, you know dang well that crap's about to hit the fan. But I was very confused about what was going on and why did he not just spit it out. Later on, he told me that he was just in shock and did not want it to be true. I respect him for that, being able to keep calm despite how the situation was. I mean, now that everything's cleared up, I'm certain that I would not have been as calm as he had been. I would have been mad and asked questions. I told him to get to the point, stop beating around the bush, because this was stressing me even more now, and I was tired from work. He went from looking like he was going to burst from anger to telling me in a very sad voice that he never thought I could do something like that to him after all we've been through. He asked why I did not just leave him if I wanted to be with someone else, instead of resorting to lies and sneaking out. He asked why I had agreed to move in with him in the first place, since I was so sure that I was not yet done with the streets. And I was honestly stunned. His voice rose in anger, and so did my temper, as I was wondering what the heck had gotten into this man to accuse me of such disgusting actions, when he knew that it was me and him, and that I would never look at another man. I asked him where he's gotten all of this from, and if it was a female friend trying to feed poison again. I knew they did not like me, but they pretended for his sake. They thought I was not good enough for him, but in all honesty, I felt like they just wanted him. I figured they must have lied to him that I was cheating, and he like a fool believed him. I was not going to stand there and take much disrespect, after all we've been through, so I told him that he and his lying friends could go to beep because I was loyal to him. But he shocked me by telling me at the time when I was telling him I was at the office, he was sitting right across my table at the food court at the mall, and he'd seen me displaying affection with another man. I told him that was a lie. I've never even left the office all day, and he had to have his eyes checked. He told me that it was definitely me. He knew every single part of me, even from afar. But I told him that I've texted him from work. I never once left the office, especially not to meet another man. Even with all the reassurances, he did not want to listen to me. Instead, he went on about how he had been waiting for this so-called proof that I was at the office all day. But I just ignored him, so I was proven my guilt. He said that was the reason why I did not want to call in sick at work, just to spend time with him. I wanted to see my lover. I was insulted at the fact that he would dare question my integrity when all I've been was loyal to him. I had not once thought of or entertained another man ever since I started dating him because he was not lacking in some way. So I quickly went to suspect him of cheating. I told him that maybe he was the one cheating on me and he was suspecting me because he was scared of being caught. Well, that's when it got ugly really quick. With neither of us willing to back down from the argument, I felt that he was a liar and he was hiding something from me or trying to gaslight me because he did not want to be with me. I felt insulted, for he knew that I was many things but not a cheater. Both of us had been cheated on in previous relationships, and we've decided that we were going to break the cycle and be loyal to each other. I thought he trusted me and knew when I was telling the truth, but I was wrong. In the last bid to convince him that it's been a trick of the light or someone who looked like me, I told him to call my friend and colleague Anna. Anna was no liar and could vouch for me that I've been at the office. Under any circumstances, I would not have called her to prove my innocence, as I did not want anyone to know about this fight. It was just so embarrassing and made me scared that he did not trust me and thought ill of me. We called Anna and put her on loudspeaker. He questioned her and she had my back, saying she's seen me all day. But he said that his eyes could not lie. He had a photographic evidence that arrived that I was in another man's arms. Just because my friend had lied for me did not mean that I was innocent. He showed me the photograph, which, by the way, was not even that clear. I told him that's nonsense. Neither of us wanted to listen to the other, and we had now resorted to ugly fighting, which involved calling each other's names and bringing up past events. I had no idea why he was doing this to me and why he was so upset. He got so upset that he cried. Then he told me that he was done with me and my inability to admit that I was wrong. He said that if I had just confessed, then he would have eventually forgiven me, especially if I ended things with the man. He said that it was either I leave the apartment or he did, but he never wanted to see me again. I was equally as angry as him, telling him that he did not deserve me anyways, and having trust issues like that was not going to get him anywhere. Many things were said on that day that both of us regret. I do not know whom he can blame for this mess, time or the girl that he's mistaken for me. It showed me a different side of him and myself. He was so angry that I could hear him banging stuff as I was packing my stuff so that I would leave. I was crying while cursing him at the same time and plotting revenge for the way he's kicked me out. I was just too proud to let him leave and stay in the apartment. It was then that I heard a very high-pitched scream while I was in the middle of stealing his most comfortable jacket. I heard a woman's voice and did not think before speaking, and the next thing I knew, I was walking out of our bedroom yelling, "You could not even wait for me to leave before calling your beep!" But I did not even get to finish because I was looking at the mirror image of me. The woman's hair was the same length and shade as mine, and she was wearing the clothes that the girl in the pic had been wearing. Not only that, but right next to her was a man who was holding her hand. Her husband. All the anger and annoyance faded, and I was just happy to see my sister, laughing as everything came together in my head. She had absolutely slipped my mind while my boyfriend and I were arguing, because I felt there was no way she would have been back in town without telling me. The last time I've been talking to her, she told me she was thinking of settling down with her husband in Australia. I also wanted to unalive her because she did not tell me that she was coming. I also wondered how she even knew where I stayed, but then I remembered that she occasionally sent me postcards from wherever she was. These postcards that my boyfriend had seen because he knew I had a sister. He just did not know it was a twin sister. I honestly thought I told him. He says that even if I did, it must have slipped his mind because he did not think of that when he saw her. He thought that it was me and I was cheating on him. He, on the other hand, seemed to have been the source of the scream because he was looking between us like we were ghosts. I, on the other hand, was dying while my sister looked at me like I belonged in a mental asylum. Soon, everyone was laughing while I explained just how ridiculous this situation was and how my boyfriend actually thought she was me. Most identical twins start looking a bit different as they grow older, but my sister and I had very few differences that messed everyone up. Even when we were still in school, it was one of those perks and blessings of being a twin. My sister was dying from laughter as she recalled that her husband had told her about a weird man who kept following them and looking at them with an evil eye. My boyfriend was very shy and ashamed of his assumption, but I was equally to blame for not telling him I had a twin. My sister's excuse was they just arrived the previous day, but were just sightseeing before they surprised me. After everything had been patched up between my boyfriend and I, We all had a lovely dinner and they went back to their hotel. They're still here for the next few months and it's been a blast so far. When my sister and I get together, we're always up to mischief, which is always at the expense of her husband and my boyfriend. We're always playing pranks on them, and he always plays pranks on both of us as well. Neither of us had any hard feelings over what was said the last time we fought. It has just made us realize that we need to be more communicative and trust each other more. Otherwise, we're just two peas in a pod. Albeit, two fiery peas are always up to no good. Well, I thought I would share this story, for I'm sure some twins can relate to something similar happening to them. So I don't 100% blame the boyfriend for how he reacted. I just think he should have got his clues together before he got so angry. I understand it was probably the heat of the moment, and what are the odds your girlfriend has a twin sister she's never told you about? Guys, drop your thoughts on this story down below in the comment section. I would love to hear your opinion on this one. Please do me a favor right now though, before we jump to the second story. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button. It helps me out so much and I deeply appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much for that. The next story we're going to look at is titled, Friends' Parents Ditch Their Children at My House for the Weekend. This event occurred about 20 years ago, in 2006, and names have been changed. Some of it's based on my memories and my mom's, mostly my mom's. Even though this story's old, I think you'll all get a kick out of it. When I was in the 5th grade, my friend Stacy was going to spend the night with me one Friday, and go home the next morning because we had a family function to attend. My mom talked to her mom and it was cleared. Imagine my surprise when Stacy and her little sister, Molly, who was in kindergarten, both get off the bus. The girls also have nothing with them. No clothes, no PJs, no underwear, or anything else kids need for a weekend away. Mom tries calling friend's mom with no answer. Stacy isn't too bothered by this either and told my mom that her mom and her mom's boyfriend went out of town, so no one's going to be at the house until Sunday. So my mom packs us all up and takes us to Kohl's to buy these poor girls what they need for the weekend, including new shoes because their shoes were ruined. They end up going to the family function with us, and Sunday, after my mom finally gets a call back from friend's mom, saying that there would be a babysitter at their house and to drop the girls off. My mom goes to take the girls home and no one's there. Parents have ghosted again, and my mom was not going to leave two little girls by themselves. So the girls come back to our house for another night. Monday morning, my mom drops us off at school, and Stacy moves suddenly a couple weeks later. This also is not the last time something like this happened to my mom. A similar situation happened with my friend's brother a few years later. I'm still in awe at how these parents just dropped their kids off on a stranger and ditched them. But I suspect there was a lot of drug use going on and a huge lack of caring. So there's probably not much to do about this story since this was 20 years ago, but I was getting so many red flags. I don't know how the children's home life was, but I'm assuming it could not be good, since that lady, or maybe both the parents, were just willing to dump the kids off with a stranger, and they didn't seem to care where they were. That was definitely a big red flag, but like I said, it was 20 years ago, so what are you gonna do about it? Alright guys, that's all the content I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you achieve every goal you set out to do today, and remember, it's cool to be kind.